Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Riderpiece Theater. Me, Alistair Dayhawk, and tonight, me proud to present Kamen Rider Gavv, episode 21. Boy, oh boy, guys, it finally happened. Not only we know who is behind Bitter Gavv, we also are witnessing the implosion that is the bromance between Shoma and Hanto. We all knew it was coming. For me, I just didn't know it would implode this soon, but it happened. And last week we witnessed Hanto, acting as if Shoma has cheated on him with Lakia, aka Lakia. And now he knows that not only that he is a Ganyut, but he's also a member of the Stomach family. And poor Shoma is in shambles. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to say. And he receives a punch for not telling Hanto the truth. Of course, Shoma has been trying to explain himself. But of course, Hanto is not going to listen to him. And he just has a hissy fit, and he just leaves him on the floor for a second time, and he just turns around and runs away as if Shoma broke his heart. And all the while, guys, as we are witnessing this bromance shattered, Lakia is just standing there, just witnessing the whole thing and doesn't do anything. He just stood there and just watched the implosion happen. And then after the heartbroken Hanto, Lakia's like, yeah, I think you owe me an explanation. And Shoma, I think, turns around and stares at Lakia and like, if I were Shoma, I'll be like, dude, I understand I owe you an explanation. I understand that, but this is not the time, dude. It's really not the time. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's funny, but at the same time, you're like, oh man, the bromance is temporarily over. And Hanto, again, like he acts like, his boyfriend, Shoma, has cheated on him and all that. It's just, it's funny yet sad at the same time. But all the actors involved, especially Shoma and Hanto, they did a great job. So after the opening credits, now Lakia pretty much knows everything about Shoma, since Shoma told everything off screen during the opening credits, and we now officially know that Lakia wants to join up with Shoma in defeating the Stomach family, but he made a couple of things crystal clear, which is like the main point is, I do not have any emotional attachments to the human world, so I'm just letting you know right now. And also, he knows that if Hanto was in the mix, we all knew this, guys. We all knew this. I told you guys this. The moment Lakia, aka Lakia, whichever name you prefer, once he joins the group, Hanto will have a horrible time getting along with him. And now with Shoma being a half Ganyut, because remember, he's half human, half Ganyut, like he's going to have a very difficult time working with him. And he pretty much tells Shoma, look, Hanto is going to be one of the main problems here, especially if I get involved in helping you guys, because Hanto made it clear that he doesn't like Ganyuts. So instead of asking Shoma, how are we going to do this, he bluntly says, you need to get rid of this guy because he is a reliability. He sucks. And I hate to say it, guys, ever since he became a Kamen Rider, Hanto has been receiving a ton of L's, countless defeats. And I was in an agreement with Lakia here because, my God, he really does suck. And he blatantly points that out to Shoma, and Shoma was like, look, I cannot get rid of him. I just can't. We started this thing together from the very beginning. I can't just let him go. It's not that simple. And again, Shoma is stuck between a rock and a hard place. But right now, his top priority right now is to talk to Hanto, because he's worried about Hanto, and he is concerned that he might talk to Sachika, and that will be an explosion in and on itself. So he is really like, I can't handle the stress right now. I'm exposed, and Hanto is thinking the worst of me after everything we've been through. It's just, Shoma's is a mess. So speaking of Hanto is ranting to Dr. Nick, of all people, because honestly he has nobody. So he is ranting to Dr. Nick, and we get this weird, this awkward stare down between him and Dr. Nick, assuming that Dr. Nick knew that he was a Ganyut, and also knowing that he was a member of the Stomach family. Of course, Dr. Nick is lying through his teeth, because, he is making a clone right now, as he is having this weird staring down between himself and Hanto. So give Dr. Nick credit. At least he said, look, I knew that he was a Ganyut, because remember, Shoma blatantly says yes, and the rest he just like, oh, so you are a Ganyut. So he pretty much figured it out because of Shoma. But what he didn't know is that he was a member of the Stomach family. So I have to be fair to Dr. Nick here, even though right now he's cooking up a clone as we speak these words, right? So I have to admit, though, as awkward as the stare down was, I wish Hanto would have given him a few weird looks, like maybe like an eyebrow raising, like and Dr. Nick, I have to give credit to the actor. He just like stood there and just like stood calm. He didn't laugh or anything. He just like stood there and just took it, and like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not lying. I didn't know. Like, I may be not saying anything when I'm cooking up, but about the news, of course I knew about him being a Ganyut, but I didn't know that about the other truth. So I mean, but he just stood there and just took him like, why are you giving me this weird look? So give Dr. Nick credit, okay? So yeah, so Dr. Nick then tells Hanto, oh, so this is interesting now. Shoma is tag teaming with Lakia 9. It's interesting because Lakia 9 was the one responsible for the recent kidnappings, the disappearance that happened a couple of weeks ago. And plus, how did Dr. Nick knew? Again, Shoma told him. And already Hanto is already jumping into conclusions here that, oh, Shoma has been on the Ganyut side all along. So it's just like, come on, Hanto, come on. Really? But this is what happens when you're full of rage, you're confused, you're getting information from this whack job, and and all that, and he sums it up. Oh, okay, so he was on the dark side the entire time. So he used me, but yeah. And speaking of the Ganyuts, we go to the Ganyut world, and we all knew that Gota is gonna tell her brothers, hey, Lakia 9 is a traitor. He infiltrated our company because he wanted revenge, because apparently his little brother worked with us and one of us killed him and he wants revenge, that sort of thing. And as she is giving her two brothers the details, Nyelv was doing research on his iPad, writing the name down of the little brother, and sees that, hey, he did work with us and someone killed him. But as he was reading through the file, and you can tell that Nyelv is having that shocked look on his face, as not only he's reading through but looking through the file, his sister is pretty much telling everything that he's a traitor and blah, 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 all the details. And he's like, oh, crap. So here's the thing, guys. Maybe I'm getting too much of maybe I'm nitpicking a little bit, but I am assuming that Nyelv is in shock in learning the truth about Lakia 9 being the implant. He wanted revenge for his little brother. Or maybe, just maybe, this is a thought, guys. Do you think Nyelv was responsible for Lakia 9's little brother's death? Can you imagine that? The one that gave Lakia 9 the powers of a Kamen Rider is the same person that killed his little brother. Who would have thought if that would happen, right? But maybe I'm reading too much of it, but that's food for thought, guys. So give me your thoughts and opinions. Do you think that Nyelv is the one that killed Lakia 9's little brother? That would be very interesting. And poor Lango, his heart just broke into pieces. He thought that he found the number one employee in his company, but he ended up turning rogue and joining forces with his bastard little brother, and he is down in the dumps. Like, wow. And this is where Lango tells his two remaining siblings, because Gavv is nowhere to be found. So my guess, he's in the character closet crying over his twin sister. Tells Nyelv that he needs to double up security for all the portals on Earth, while Gota does inventory, and also she needs to go out there and hunt down more humans and reclaim what was lost. So, and she's like, yeah. Yeah. And Lango, well, he has to, really be strict on his employees and really make sure that the employees that he picks is, no spy, no double agent, no nothing. Poor Lango, he's so sad. I'll be sad too. If I find someone like a Lakia 9 that he's very good at his job, but it turns out to be a traitor later on and joins forces with his little brother, I'd be like, damn. I mean, Lango should be asking, who in the hell gave Lakia 9 the powers of a Kamen Rider? Then Nyelv would be sweating bullets. But based on the look on his face, he is sweating bullets right now. So, like I said before, like I mentioned last week, is Nyelv going to continue helping Lakia 9? Or is he going to be like, I can't be involved with this guy anymore because he's too much of a risk. I could get exposed. Because during this whole conversation in this scene, Gota was already pointing fingers at her little brother for the surgery modifications. And Nyelv was like, sis, we could play the blame game all we want, but it's not going to move us forward. So we have to think, what's the plan here? Like, what's next? And then, the rest. But like, Gota's like already pointing fingers at her younger brother. I'm like, I mean, Gota, you're a queen next to our beloved. Oh my God, I forgot the queen of games herself from Geats. I forgot. Oh, shame on me. But you're equal to her, and my God, you're closer to the truth as you would think. That's all I'm gonna say. And I'm ashamed that I forgot the name of my queen, the queen of games. So we move from sad Lango to Shoma returning to the Sachika office, and Sachika is waiting for Shoma because she wants to celebrate with him now that Takeshi has returned. And you see the table full of sweets and snacks. And as they were celebrating, Sachika can tell that Shoma is not happy at all. He's usually happy. He tends to eat a lot. But today is different. He barely is eating his macaroons, which, by the way, his cachizos were on top of his knees. And as he was munching on the macaroon, one of the cachizos went under his sweater and was wondering, like, hey, how come his Gavv hasn't produced any cachizo after eating the macaroon? So you see that weird question mark. I'm like, huh? Because I assume a macaroon is like a sweet, so it's strange how it hasn't produced a cachizo. But maybe his mood is affecting the creation. I don't know, but yeah. So he's down in the dumps because of what happened, and now Shoma is being a little bit paranoid because he's afraid that Hanto is gonna pop out of nowhere and be like, Sachika, stay away from this guy. He's a Ganyut, and everything is gonna go up in flames. So he is really tense, and he can't eat because of it, and Sachika is noticing it. So she asks Shoma, did something good happen? What's going on? Or like she knows something is up, and she's asking Shoma, okay, something's going on here. Can you tell me what it is? You look pale. What's going on? And this is where Shoma just becomes all frantic and be like, oh, no, nothing is wrong. You know what? I'm going to go to the store, pick something up, and I'll be right back. And he just runs away. And poor Sachika, oh my God. So we get to the next scene. It's in the middle of the night. Shoma is now becoming paranoid about Sachika because back in the scene with Sachika and Shoma, he was thinking about telling her the truth before Hanto does, and he came really, really close. But then after what happened to him earlier on, he was like, no, I can't do it because he is very afraid, and he backed out. So yeah, he's starting to become paranoid. He's going to start assuming the worst of Sachika, that, okay, if Hanto's going to be like this, there's a strong possibility that Sachika's going to be the same way. He is starting to get paranoid. And all the while, Sachika is trying to figure out poor Shoma, and she was down in the dumps because she's like, I was trying to cheer him up to open up, but then somehow my words came out wrong, and like she's like also depressed. Poor Sachika, I love her so much, but oh man. So we immediately see, a paranoid Shoma. Then all of a sudden, as he was going down the steps, he ends up collapsing. I assume he hasn't eaten all day, and due to that, he collapses. And that's pretty much it there. And then we move to Hanto, and he sees posts online about Takashi's return, and the hostages also return as well. And now you see Hanto fighting within himself, because on one hand, he sees the news that all the people have been saved. So he was thinking, maybe the reason why he saw Shoma with a Lage line is because he convinced him to release the hostages. That's why you see them both fighting against Gota. But then on the other hand, he's like, well, he's a member of the Stomach family, so he can't get over that fact. And then we get to see him recounting everything from the moment he first met him up to now, and realizes, like, you know what? We've been through so much together. I owe him to at least hear him out. He wants to give him a chance to, explain himself. He calmed himself down. He just realizes, okay, you know what? Let me hunt down Shoma. Let us have this talk and see where we go from there. And good on him. Honestly, good on him. It took him long enough, but at least he did it. And then speaking of Shoma, you see Shoma just walking, and where like he was on top of a bridge or something, and Hanto was down below, and he spots Shoma walking, and he's like, "Oh, speaking of the devil, here's Shoma now," and he runs towards Shoma as if he's like, "Shoma, take me back." Take me back. I want to hear your story. I'm sorry that I punched you in the face. Anyways, as he climbed up the stairs to meet up with Shoma, he disappears. Like, he is gone, and Hanto's like, "What? I just saw him. Where did he go?" So he's like, "Okay, maybe as I'm walking through this path, I may spot him." So as Hanto is hunting down Shoma, we get to see Shoma, walking towards an old udon cart, and the owner of that cart was about to close shop, but then Shoma shows up with an empty stomach. You can hear the stomach rumbling, and the owner's like, "You know what? I was about to close, but I can give you 30 minutes and you can eat and whatnot." And here is where we get the destruction of the cart, because after the owner said that, Shoma, air quotes, is pretty much eating everything on what's on top of the cart. And the owner was frantic, like, "What the hell are you doing? You're eating everything. Like, what's going on? Like, stop." And then, of course, Shoma knocks the owner down, leaving him unconscious, and he continues on eating everything on that cart. And he realizes that when he eats the food that's on that cart, he realizes that there's no Kachizos, popping out of his gov. So he's like, "Oh, great. So this is not it." And out of frustration, he ends up destroying the poor man's cart. So from now on, guys, if for evil Shoma, I'm going to call him Bizarro from now on. So in case people are new listening to me after this video, asking me, "Why are you calling evil Shoma Bizarro?" Now you know. Then we hit the next morning with Hanto unable to find his boyfriend, and he is hungry. He wants to eat breakfast. He goes inside a restaurant, and instead of breakfast food, he is seeing a scene of a crime. And he asks the man next to him, like, "What the hell just happened? What did I walk into?" And the guy shows Hanto a recording of Bizarro with the crazy eyes beating up people, stealing people's food, and pretty much destroying the restaurant, and repeat. And Hanto's like, "Okay, that's it. I wanted to give him a chance, but you know what? After seeing this recording, yeah, he needs to be stopped, and I'm gonna kill him." So from the restaurant, he goes to the office to confront Shoma, but instead of Shoma being there, you see Sachika, and Hanto demands to know where the hell is Shoma at. And Sachika said, "Well, he's been gone all night. Like, he told me that he was gonna go to the store to pick up something, and he never came back." And Shoma ended up pulling the whole, "I'm going to go to the liquor store and get some milk, and I'm not going to come back." It's the whole liquor store escape method here in the States. There's a story behind that, but But anyways, I'm not here to explain that. But we all know what happened to the real Shoma. He collapsed because he didn't eat, and God only knows where the hell he's at. But I have this sinking feeling I know where he's at. And we're going to reveal that next week. So Hanto, out of anger and frustration, he just says, "This kid lied to me. He lied to you. He's not what he seems. He's a guy Newt. He made a fool out of both of us. He is the same. He's part of the species that kidnap people and turning them into spices, that sort of thing. And he's pretty much blabbing everything to Sachika, leaving poor Sachika in disbelief, like, what? Shoma is a Ganyu? What the hell? Can you explain? But obviously, Hanto has no time to explain to Sachika. He leaves her planted, and before he leaves, he says, "Look, if he comes back here, call me. Lock the doors. Do not let him in." And yeah, Sachika is so confused right now. She doesn't like what. So we get from a confused Sachika and an enraged boyfriend, air quotes. Lage 9, this short scene is all about Lage 9, and he knows that he has been exposed. The phone given to him by Lago doesn't work anymore, and now he knows that it's going to be 10 times harder for him to crash into other lookouts. The portals will be doubled in security, and he realizes that, okay, since I don't have this resource anymore, he has to go out there and do what Shoma and Hanto do in order to get information and all that, is to go out there and talk to people. And he's like, oh, that sucks. I have to do legwork now? Really? Do I have to go outside? Like, he's one of the most emo writers I've ever met in the show. Like, I mean, after everything he has been through so far, it's understandable, but still, it's like, he's so emo. Oh my god. He's an excellent fighter, but oh my god, he's just like, do I have to do this? Yeah, I have to. I don't have resources anymore. And also, Lage 9 should move to a different hideout because Nyelv knows where you are. And again, Nyelv is a wild card here, so I don't know. But Lage 9, you have to move out from your dark and gloomy place. I'm just saying. Anyways, after that sad realization that Lage 9 needs to do work, Bizarro comes in, and he goes to a mini store. It's like a 7-Eleven-ish. So he goes inside a mini store, and of course he does the whole let me eat some snacks and destroy and beat up shop owners, which right around that order. So you see him eating, and the poor shop owner, which, by the way, he's old, and he's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, you're supposed to, like, are you going to pay for that? But of course, he pays for it by throwing the poor man outside his own store, and he beats him up a bit. And as he doesn't really beat him up, but he just throws him across the outside, and then he lands his foot on top of him, and as he is keeping the old man there, you see Bizarro munching on every single candy that he stole, and then lo and behold, he eats a gummy bag, and we get to see a darker version of the gummy Cachizo, and he's all happy that finally I found something that I can produce Cachizos with, and he ends up continuing eating the sweets, and we see a ton of Cachizos, being made. And then Hanto to the rescue. He shows up, pushes Bizarro away from the old man, and tells the old man, are you okay? You need to go. Everybody, you need to go out. You need to leave. Yeah, this is going to be very nasty. Except for two people, which one of them was recording the whole thing. Anyways, Hanto, believing that that's Shoma, was like, now you took your mask off. Now that you revealed yourself, now you're going to go and hurt people and trashing everything. This time I'm going to stop you. And Bizarro's like, okay, who are you? Like, I don't know you. But instead, he was like, you know what? This is the perfect time for me to take this for a test drive. So we get to see the debut of Bitter Gavv, and I have to say the suit looks pretty badass. And the black and the black and the white stripes reminds me a whole lot of Arc 1. Like, they took the design and just added it in, the spikes and the red, and it looks pretty badass. And Hanto was like, "Oh, you have a new form now, huh? Okay, all right, right on, right on." And so we get to see the fight, the beatdown actually, because again, this is another elf for Hanto, unfortunately, because he gets constantly beat up. I believe this is all part of the plan. I had to trust in the process, but he's getting the Spaniard treatment. But anyways, during the fight between Bizarro and Hanto, I've noticed something that's really, really off about Bizarro, especially when he tried to lift off that sword. Like he was having a terrible time lifting that thing up. So something tells me something went wrong in the cloning process, Dr. Nick. Something went seriously wrong. You created a Frankenstein's monster, and I don't know what the hell. Did you look the other way and Bizarro laughed? Like what went down here? Because you created a monster. Look, it wasn't all bitter Gavv's like taking being the advantage. Like Hanto did get like a couple of hits to Bizarro, but still, like even in half strength, Bizarro ends up kicking Hanto's ass, which is so embarrassing, for God's sake. Oh man, like you see Bizarro in after the transformation, like the right arm, I can't tell which arm it was. I think it was the left arm, was so weird, and then Bizarro had to fix it up. And then, his fights, even though you can tell that he's good at fighting as well, but there's moments where like, wait, something's going on here. Like he even said like, I'm still, stiff. Like what's going on? Like even he himself knows that something is wrong with him, especially when he tried to lift that sword. But even with everything, like Bizarro still whooped Hanto's ass, and this is so bad. But then, as we were witnessing the beatdown, we see Lakia 9 just casually walks, and he like, oh, okay, I need to do this more often, because apparently as I walk around this world, something bad happens, and you know what? I'm here. I have my rider powers. Let's do this. This leg work really does work. So he transforms and he shoots an arrow to the bitter Gavv. And you see Hanto in disbelief that, hey, Flan has saved me. What's going on here? He shot Shoma. What's going on? I thought they were a team. What's going on? And you see, Lakia 9 being all cool, just walking slowly. And then you have Bizarro's just like, another one? Really? And he just like a zombie tribute to, to X8. And just like, oh, I'm gonna get you. And that's how the episode ends. I mean, another great episode, a great debut. The actor who plays Bizarro, which of course is the same person, he did a great job, separating like, okay, who is who, because a lot of actors have trouble, separating, okay, we have a good character, a bad character, but it's easy because, Bizarro is meant to be Shoma's evil side, so it's really simple, and I enjoy it. I really enjoy the suit design. It looks pretty badass. And I hope to God that he doesn't get killed off so quickly. But I get the feeling that the cloning process something went wrong. And I get this feeling that we're going to see Bizarro deteriorate over time. I'm sorry if I cannot pronounce that word. But like over time, he's going to fall apart. And it must be due to the cloning process, how it's incomplete, whatever. And we're going to see him, fall apart right before our eyes. But I want him to survive all the way to the end. And there's so many possibilities to take Bizarro, because now that Bizarro is out in the open, what would the Stomach family react? Are they willing to accept evil Shoma, aka Bizarro, into the ranks? As if, okay, we have a Dark Rider here who is pretty much defeating our enemies here. We can use him, while at the same time, once his usefulness is over, we can dispose of him. But what would happen can you imagine if Bizarro ends up being the one that kills off all the Stomach family members and he being the final boss? That would be insane if that were to happen, guys. Is it gonna happen? I don't know. But it's too cool to it's too cool of a thought. And I have to trust in the writing process, of course, but that's just one theory. Can you imagine if Lango tried to control Bizarro, but it ends up Bizarro killing Lango, and then he ends up being in control of the Stomach family business? But he's a beast. He's a berserker. He's a brute. So how would he, control a company? And also, can you imagine if he ends up eating a dark treat? Imagine the form that's going to come out. And the question is, once he tastes the dark treat, is he going to become addicted to it? Because this show, especially when it comes to Shoma, he has traits of Superman. He has super strength. Apparently, if you try to run him over with a car, it's not going to do the driver any good because the car is going to get destroyed and Shoma is unharmed. And we still don't know Shoma's kryptonite, you could say. But can you imagine if Bizarro ends up eating the dark treat? Because we know that Bizarro is the opposite of Superman. The kryptonite gives him strength. So can you imagine eating the dark treat and gives him a lot of strength? Oh boy. Oh boy. It's going to be really, really bad. But hey, the possibilities with Bizarro is going to be endless. Again, I will have to trust in the writing, but my theories, can you imagine that the Stomach family is trying to control a rabid beast, but it turns out that the beast is controlling them and ends up killing them? I mean, wow, seriously. But I seriously hope that evil Shoma, aka Bizarro, stays in the show for a long period of time, and maybe Shoma will be like, look, he is me, I am him. Maybe it's up to me to turn him good, and Shoma's like, come on, Bizarro, let us work together, you're kind of like my twin here, come on, let us fight the good fight together and join the good side. And of course it will be like, no, I'm not going to join you. No. But I get the feeling that Bizarro is going to get a sad ending. I'm sure Shoma will try his best to save him, but it's going to be a tragic ending for him. And where is G-Bad? Oh, I know. He is crying in the character closet. Lango is crying because his best employee has joined the enemy. Nyelv is sweating bullets right now because he's like, I may have killed his little brother, and I gave him the powers of Kamen Rider, so it's gonna bite me in the ass. I don't know if I can help Lakia 9 now because he got exposed, so it's too much of a risk for me. I don't know, my sister is pointing at me, that I'm responsible. Uh-oh. And then Hanto, acting as if, his boyfriend cheated on him, but there were moments where, I'm going to give him a chance. And then Bizarro came to be and everything went down in flames. And and Lakia 9 has to do legwork. He has to do work now. Yeah. This is a sad episode, guys. a cool yet sad episode because everything is exposed. Everybody knows who Shoma is by now, and now everything is ruined because of his evil twin. And the most tragic of all, it's not the bromance breaking up, but Lakia 9 doing some work. That's the most tragic part of this whole entire thing. Yeah, it's sad. Anyways, give me your thoughts and opinions about this episode. It's another great episode. The writing is superb. I can't wait for next week. Give me your thoughts and opinions of this episode. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Did I miss anything? Even though I have my notes in front of me, I may have missed a couple of things. I don't know. Let us start a conversation. And give a like if you like this video. And please subscribe because it helps me out. And I will see you all on the other side of Oblivion. Also, just a side note, before I say Johnny, there's pictures going around of Shoma's ultimate form, which is an ice cream based form. And so far it looks pretty good, but I'm sure it's going to look very awesome in live action. So yeah, we're close to its ultimate form area, so be aware of that. And I'm telling you right now, I'm going to collect the figure art for Bitter Gavv because it looks pretty cool. Anyways, give a like if you like it. Please subscribe, and I'll see you all on the other side of Oblivion, guys. Johnny!